We're going to continue working on complete the square. You'll have to remind me, I think we did a negative last time, factoring out a negative, correct?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I think we finished that one. I don't know what we did after that, but we'll keep on going. Alright, so let's throw one up on the board and let's see what y'all can do with it. It's going to be a little bit different because it's going to have a negative out front just like the last one. But it's going to have something different. What's different?
Negative.
And? The 2. You can't have a coefficient of greater than 1 in order to complete the square. So you got to do something with that 2. What are you going to do with it? Erase it?
Divide it.
We can erase it. It's easier to erase it.
That's a negative.
Factor.
Let's do that.
Factor out not only the negative, but factor out the negative what?
2.
2. That's the first step, just basically put your blanks in. Now you're going to factor out the negative 2. So go ahead and do that. And do we need to get decimals?
No.
No. You're defeating the purpose if you get decimals because then you're saying, I need to use my calculator.
See how you It's my way to say thanks.
I figured you.
I was eating soup in one hand, driving in the other. And it was not a smart idea, but I managed to eat my soup. But it came with a cost. The burning of my tongue. I'll just rely on you.
It'd be easier to erase the negative 2, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
ought to do that. When you factor it out, of course, that leaves you with x squared here, and that's what you want. Minus what? 3/2 x plus blank is equal to -2. 7 plus -2 times blank. All right, now what? We're going to take 3/2 and divide it by what? 2. And square. So this is where you forget everything that you learned with fractions because you're supposed to go into a panic. Right? 3/2 divided by 2/1 and square. Now, I tell people that, a lot of people say, what about the negative? Negative don't matter because what are you going to do? Square it, so it doesn't matter whether you put the negative in there or not. So, 3/2 divided by 2/1, what do you do?
Wait, I'm sorry.
3/2 times 1/2 is what? 3/4, and then 3/4 squared is
9/16.
just like the wrench, 9/16. Big old wrench right above 1/2. All right, now finish it.
So is that 3/2? Is that factoring out that 2?
When you divide this by -2, you get 1.
Yeah.
When you divide this by -2, you get this.
Okay.
Now we're going to make a little note here because, like I said, this is what some students do. They try to complete the square right here. What did I do first? Factored first. So you need to make that distinction, all of you, because some of y'all try to do complete the square first. I don't know why. And then well, the left-hand side is shortcut number 2. So that's going to give us -2. X minus 3 source quantity squared is equal to 7 minus, well, that will cancel here. You get -9/8. What?
Why'd you get 3/4? Oh yeah.
Square root of this term. Oops. Square root of that term is A. Square root of that term is B. A minus B, quantity squared. Shortcuts.
What did you do with that -2?
I erased it. Where?
At the very end,
Right
it's
here.
like crossing out.
Oh,
Yeah.
that -2 belongs in front. Don't let me forget. All right, that -2. This is -2 over what? 1. So that 2 and that 16 will cancel. You're left with -1 times 9 over 1 times 8. You okay? I'm at -2 right there. I don't know how.
You let me get it.
Just forget it. There. -2 x minus 3/4 quantity squared is equal to 4 times 30, 7 times 8 is what, 56? 56 eighths. So our equation in intercept, almost intercept form, is 56 minus 9 is what?
47.
47 over 8. So this is what we'll take over to the next page to finish it. What a surprise.
Why did you times 7 times 8?
Hmm?
Why did you multiply 7 times
To get like denominators.
Common denominators. You know why people forget that? Anybody want to take a guess at it?
Calculator.
Because they're used to what? Not you, I'm just saying people forget that because they forget the calculator. Completing the square is designed for you to use what? Your brain. That's why people don't like it. Yes?
So is that, you have what you do to the top and to the bottom?
Yeah, you have to switch it. In other words, that's 7 over 1 minus 9 over 8. So 1 will go into 8. How many times? 8 times. 8 times 7 is 56. All right, so we're going to take that over to the next page. All right, what I want you to do is I want you to finish it out. Got another 3 or 4 steps. I want you to sketch it and find the domain, range, and increasing and decreasing values. And if you can't do it, then that means you're a failure, loser. You should quit school so you can live in a ditch. And blame Bush for the rest of your life for all your failures. Do we have X-Intercepts?
Yes.
No, we do not.
That was a yes.
Why? Because when you divide that 47/8 by -2, what do you get? A negative number, Hubert. That's right, class. And you can't take the square root of a negative number. That's right, class.
Wouldn't the 2 switch to positive and switch it to the other side? Divide the 47?
Not when you divide by both sides by -2. You don't. You're thinking of adding and subtracting it. I think I have people meditate. I see some people meditate.
Do we go ahead and take this?
You need to quit.
Well, take the square out of it. Just go ahead and do x squared minus.
Well, first of all, what's our y-intercept? Somebody go back. What's our y-intercept? Our y-intercept is what? -7. So that's our y-intercept. Okay, so we got that. Now let's find our vertex. Vertex is equal to what? 3/4, comma, negative 47/8. If you need the vertex form of this, you put the f of x in front of the whole problem, and then you write it, negative 2 times x minus 3/4 quantity squared. And then what do you do with that positive 47/8? Bring it across, and that would be negative 47/8. And the vertex is opposite of this, which is 3/4, and bring this down, you get the same thing. So this is, put an or there, so y'all won't have a connection. I've been saying that since we started this, so nobody should be surprised when you see these two together. So now to find the x-intercepts, what do? Solve for what?
X.
Solve for x. Solve for x. So negative 2 times x minus 3/4 quantity squared is equal to 47/8. Divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2 over 1. That's what you're doing. Those go out. You get x minus 3/4 quantity squared is equal to multiply by negative 1/2, and that gives us what? Negative 47 over what? 16. And then the next spot is when you can't do it. How do you undo a square? Take the square root. Can't do this. So that means in your brain you should be saying we have no what? No x-intercepts. Now, I'm going to show you how to finish it. You got to use I. And I is just another way of writing x. So x minus 3/4 is equal to, I'm going to break this up into the square root of 47. What just happened there? Something just disappeared. Something was there. I guess I'm seeing things. Just shut up, you. Square root of negative 1, square root of 47 over 16. What'd I do? Factor out of negative 1, because the square root of negative 1 is what? I. Thank you, class. What's the square root of 47? Come on, y'all can do it. Come on, you can do it. 6 point. Good job. I'm very proud of y'all. You didn't even look at a calculator. 6.8 or 6.9, whichever one you want to use.
So, if you factor out a negative 1 on the other
Square root.
side, the square root, you don't have to do it on the other side? So
You can factor out anything. All I'm doing is breaking this up into its parts. That's all I'm doing.
yeah, what I'm saying is like, when you take it out, don't you have to take it out on the other side? You don't have to do that?
Factoring out, you don't. Now, when you divide both sides, you have to. But not factoring. Because I still have negative 47 16ths over here. I didn't change the mathematical value. I just broke it up into its parts. Now, this, hold on. So x minus 3/4 is equal to 6.8i over 4. And then bring this over. X is equal to 6.8i plus 3 over 4. Does this do you any benefit for sketching the graph? No. Because you already know what you need to know for the graph, and that is what? This is just a way of writing it and not have negative square root of negative 1 in the denominator and in the radical. That's what this is. So you need to get used to doing this, but as far as the graph goes, you need to realize this and finish it out like that, just so you know how to do it. So let's sketch it. And I'm just going to erase all this over here. You can, but there's no use because you're not going to graph anything. You can put it. Yeah, because you're not going to add 6.8i plus 3. You're not going to do it because you can't add. That's apples and oranges. You can't do it. Where before you could. So, let's take our handy dandy virtual eraser. That's not right. Dork.
So once we get to that,
About ready to quit. My brain is about mush after 4 classes. I'm sorry. What was your question?
once we get to the where we screwed in 47 over 16, we don't have to do any more work.
Well, you need to finish it because the test, as well as homework questions, will ask you to put it in terms of I. So you need to be able to do that. Now, if you can do it without any problem, then you don't need to practice. But if you need to practice, then practice. 0, -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 3/4. 3/4 will be right here, and 8 will go in that how many times? 8 times 6? -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And which way is it opening?
That way.
So we're not going to have what? X-intercepts. So what's the domain? All real numbers, just like always. Range, -infinity to what?
What's that?
-infinity to -47/8. Increasing from -infinity to 3/4. And decreasing from what? 3/4 to what? To infinity. From 3/4 to infinity, what's going on? It's decreasing. That's it. So some of y'all are starting to see the pattern. This guy is always where?
There.
Right there. And this guy comes from there. X domain, domain, increasing and decreasing values, all are in terms of what? X. Range is the only one that's in terms of what? Y. Okay, so let's try nerd. Now, so far, what have we talked about? We've talked about A being 1. About ready to quit. We've talked about A equaling 1. We've talked about A being greater than 1. We've talked about A being negative. We've talked about a negative number greater than 1 being in front of the A and factoring it out. So what if A is a fraction? You erase it. Good job. Try that one. You're about at number 8, around 7 or 8 right now as far as difficulty. 10 being difficult, 1 being easy. The first completing the square we did was what? X squared plus 4x plus 4. And that was a 1. Now I would just erase the 1/2 and 3/4 and then you can do the problem. I don't know why algebra. Why it's so hard. People just don't. People just don't understand. That's what the eraser's for. Why did that bridge fall down? Well, the engineer erased half of the formulas.
The guy I work for, he's an engineer. His name's John Hipsher, and he said that the DOT changed to metric for 1 year. And we're changing to metric. The rest of the world's on metric. We're the only one on the standard system. And so he said it lasted for a year because
they couldn't do.
Nobody knew how to do it. So bridges would turn out 3 foot short.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
It's true. When I was growing up, I went to Vertex Elementary School over here on 29. And all during my 5th, 6th, and 7th grade at Southwood, we were being hammered. You got to learn this metric system. You got to learn it. The end of the world is coming, and the rest of the world is learning the metric system, and we've got to learn it. And we've got to learn it. And this was about the same time that your friend was talking about. Everybody was being forced to use the metric system, and then people started figuring out, bump it. We're the United States. We'll do whatever we want. And that's when everybody started saying, okay, well, you don't have to use it, but you need to know about it. So now they just teach. You need to know about it. You need to know about it. But there for about 3 or 4 years, they were just banging it in our heads and saying, you got to learn it, you got to learn it, you got to learn it, because it's going to switch. It's like somebody was going to turn on the light switch and everything was going to be metric.
Seems legit.
It didn't happen. Well, it did happen, and everybody said, "Oh, this." No sneezing, please. y'all start meditating.
I'm finished.
Hmm?
I'm good.
You done or you meditating?
But
Okay. Okay, Miss Anderson is here. Mr. Barrett, I don't see him. Miss Forth. Crane. Is today layout on Hubert Day? Crenshaw.
Oh, it's one day.
DeVore. Evans is here. Fisher.